everyone. Welcome to Vertical. Glad you're here. Tonight, we're going to have a student come up and share her story about how she came to know Christ and how she's grown in her faith since she's come to UTA. May all please give a big, warm welcome to Christine Abasi. Christine, can you share a little bit of what life was like growing up and how you came to know Christ?
Yeah, so a large part of my life was, and still currently is, focused on the fact that my brother has Crohn's disease. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically where your body thinks that your intestines are trying to hurt you, so it attacks itself pretty much. And so because of that, he was diagnosed whenever I was about 3 years old. And so a large part of my life growing up was focused around doctor's appointments and surgeries and hospitalizations and a lot of medications and everything else. And so because of this, the medication that my brother was on would make him super angry and aggravated and would lead to depression and suicide in a lot of cases. And so at one point, whenever I was about 12 years old, he was going in for a procedure for a surgery, and he was about to die, basically, because the surgery had gone wrong. And so it had gotten to the point where my parents sat down, me and my sister, and they were like, here's what happened, here's what the doctors have said, and your brother may not wake up from this anymore, and he just may pass away in the hospital. And so for about a week, we didn't know what was going on, and I was super angry at God, and I'd grown up in church, and because of that, I heard God is gracious and loving and kind and faithful to those who love him and serve him. And so I would hear that and then look back at my life and think, if God's so gracious and loving, then why would he make my life horrible and make me go through all these horrible things and make my parents suffer through seeing their son possibly pass away? And so even though I'd grown up in church, I didn't know Christ, and I wasn't a believer, and I wasn't saved, up until the point where my church was offering baptism for those who wanted to do the opportunity to proclaim their faith. And so I was going through Bible study to do that, and for the first time in my life, I had actually heard in depth what it meant to be saved, what it meant to be a Christian, and I had heard all the things that Christ had done on earth, and the crucifixion, the suffering and beating that he went through. And for the first time, I actually saw that God is gracious and God is kind and loving, and that he gave his only son to come down and die for us and suffer all of these things so that way we may be glorified in him. And so because of all of this, and because my eyes were open suddenly to the fact of everything that Christ had went to, I come to know Christ, and I was saved through that.
Yeah. Praise God. So we know that you're a freshman, so you haven't been at UTA for very long, but what were your expectations of your involvement in ministry like before coming to UTA, and how have they changed since you've started at UTA?
Yeah, my high school was super small. It was about 100 kids in it maybe, and my graduating class was the biggest it's been in about 5 years, and that was 32 kids. And so, yeah, it was really small. And so I grew up in a really small bubble, not exposed to very much diversity. And the extent of that was that I'm Middle Eastern, so I grew up in Arabic culture, and my family still has a lot of traditions from that. And so that was my extent of culture and diversity and people. And so coming to UTA, my thought would be come to school, go to college, work, study, and go home. Because growing up in a private Christian school, you hear college is bad, drugs, partying, alcohol, all this stuff happens everywhere you go. And so growing up, that's all that I was told, and that's all that I was taught. And so coming to UTA and actually realizing that not everything is like that. And in my mind, I was thinking, I'm going to try to join Bible study, maybe find one or two close friends to know Jesus with. And I ended up coming to BSM through my pastor, who had worked with the directors of Gary and Pooty for a while. And I'd come to grow my faith and come to realize there are so many opportunities to learn and to grow and learn how to reach out to people of different backgrounds, different religions, different denominations even. And just learn how to evangelize and learn how to go deeper in the gospel and learn how to love people and learn how to show your love through Jesus on people more.
So just open mic, what is one word of encouragement you'd like to share with everyone in this room?
I'd probably be looking back on my life and seeing everything that I've gone through. People tend to focus in bad scenarios about why is this happening to me and what can I do to make my life easier. And we focus on ourselves instead of thinking, what can I learn from this and how can I use this horrible thing to glorify Christ and honor him? So.
Can we say thanks to Christine?